Hello, welcome to Monday Morning Matters live broadcast show brought to you by Magnicraft Consulting Team, anchored by Niyi Dunmade, a certified church consultant with the Society for Church Consulting in the U.S. Here, each Monday of every week, we address important, relevant, and actionable topics of interest that will help you and your church grow healthier. And now, meet your host, Niyi Dunmade.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for hooking up with me. Thank you. I'm seeing some people online. Thank you so much. I bring you greetings from the city of Abuja. Today is the second to the last Monday of 2020. 2020 has been very, very good, very, very awesome, despite all the bumpy, crazy times you were living in. So I want to thank everyone for. So today we're going to wrap up on the 14 vital signs. The 14 vital signs. Mind you, we still have our framework, our church health framework. Then the 14 vital signs. We have the 14 vital signs. And we're going to run through all of them. Today is series 12. And series 12, we're going to just wrap up the last two of them, which is attendance to seats. That's like a facility analysis, and then seat and parking capacity. So we started with attendance change, guest to attendance, conversion and baptism, young families, the next generation, small group involvement, volunteer membership, attendance to staff, per capital giving, weeks in cash reserves, debt to annual giving, percent of staff budget, attendance to seating, and parking space. So the last two is what we're going to do today. And then these are all the US comparisons of some churches, the top 10 churches growing and things like that, percentage baptism and percentage kids. We also have percentage students and the ones in groups. And then we also have attendance to staff and percentage of adult and student serving. Per capita giving and weeks in cash reserves. We also want to look at we also want to look at parking space and then attendance to sit in the auditorium. All right. So today we're going to look at attendance to sit. Attendance to seat. Every auditorium has a limited capacity. That means in terms of number of seats. And because your church is not just only about adults, you also need to look at the capacity of every sector in your facility. Your toilet, your bathroom, your restroom, your foyer, your parking space, your auditorium for adults, and educational space. Is there a space for fellowship? Is there a space for networking? All right. So we're going to look at all those things. Every auditorium has a limited number of seats, limited number of capacity. And so this attendance to seats is a way of telling us how it reveals the level to which those seats are utilized. It also reveals the level at which the land and the church facility has been maximized and utilized. In other words, it lets us know if there's enough room for everyone attending. One of the ways at which I advise churches is that most churches' membership database are way more than their recent attendance level. So we need to prepare for the membership database. For example, if your membership database is 3,000 on your database and your recent current attendance is, let's say, 800, you need to prepare, because what if all your members in your database show up? What if more than the percentage of your facility capacity shows up one Sunday morning? You need to be able to create enough room for people to come and be part of the church by attending. So what I'm trying to say is there should be room for kids, there should be room for adults, there should be room for educational learning and things like that. So if the facility is such that it's 80% full, you might have to think multi-site or multiple service or going to branching and things like that. One of the things I always want to advise, if your church is 80% full, what happens is that when you are even spiritually empowering your members to invite their people, psychologically is counterintuitive to make sure that they are going to invite their people, because they feel that the church is full. They feel that the church is occupied. So if the church is full, you won't want to invite your friends. You are always thinking about the comfort of your friend. Are they going to have a good parking space? Are they going to be welcome? Are they going to have a comfortable seat? Are they going to be will they find it easy for them to plug into the culture and the lifestyle of the church? So if your church is approaching 70%, you need to find ways to be able to expand or do multiple service, so that if 20% of your attendants are inviting their friends on a given service, you have space, you have room, you have seats to be able to take them in that service. So one of the things is you need to make sure that there's no physical barrier or lead on the growth of the church by creating space, as in seats, parking space. That's what we are trying to do. So once you start multiple service, don't reduce back to one. What it means that you are trying to also encourage a decline, all right? A decline, a drift downwards. Open seats gives your members, when they look around and they see some chairs, not that you should put so many chairs empty, but at least like 20 to 30% of your attendance free. Let them see that there's room for people who they are going to be inviting are going to be part of the church. So let's make sure that that percentage of seats in our auditorium is actually made available. It's actually made available. So let's make sure that we get that clear in a jiffy. So we're going to go next to our next point, and of course how to calculate it. Use year-to-date average attendance divided by the auditorium seating capacity. And of course, in the show notes, you're going to see US comparison. One of the things is that I can send you a data sheet and we can calculate all these 14 vital signs in no time, and then we can have a 30-minute phone conversation on how you can move from where you are to where you should be. The next one has to do with sitting and parking. Sitting and parking. Sitting and parking. One of the things that goes along with people attending your church is a lot of utility, a lot of side attraction that makes people to want to be part of your church. So are there parking space? Is there a toilet? Is there a restroom? Is there a parking space, for their cars and things like that? Few church leaders actually see the parking lot through the eyes of a normal attendees. They want to know if there is enough parking space for them and there's more accommodation for them. With that, so leaders should also be willing to sacrifice for guests to be able to park at choicest space in the parking lot. Okay, and the Stanley often says that the sermon begins in the parking lot. In fact, what I always want to tell our people is that everything that has to do with your service, everything, your worship, your opening prayer, welcome, everything that has to do with your service, everything that has to do with your service, it is the message. It is the sermon. Everything. Don't feel that the message is only the sermon. Okay? Everything, how people greet them, how people welcome them, your intercessory prayers on your program schedule, everything about your service is the message. Everything. You have to have that mindset that anything you're doing from the pulpit, anything you're doing in the premises of the church is actually giving a message to everyone that is present in your church. So the whole service package activity is the message. Healthy churches ensure everyone feels there is room for them the moment they drive into the church premises. So as people come to your church, they need to have that psychological emotion that there is room for me here. There's accommodation for me here. I can belong here. I can join these people. Because if you don't have that feeling emotionally, as in emotionally with feelings, no matter how spiritually sound your church is, there will be that barrier, and a deal breaker can be created as a result. So to do this effectively, leaders must monitor the relationship between the number of seats and the parking space. And there's a relation to it because it is human beings that bring cars to church. So if you are able to put your eyes on the number of people who are coming to fill up your seat, you can project with we can project the number of cars that will come. For example, if you're having a special program and you're expecting, let's say, 500 people, multiplying that by 1.5 or 2 can give you a kind of snapshot of how many volumes of cars that will come for that program, and you need to know that you have a parking space capacity for that program. That's how you prepare, and when you prepare like that, God sees your attitude and He blesses you with more. When He sees your attitude in preparation adequately and promptly, professionally, God blesses you with more. So one parking space for every 1.5 auditorium seats. What means that at least you should have 2 persons per car who come to church, less than 2 persons per car to come to your church. So if the ratio of the parking space of the to seat is lower than 1 to 1.5, it may be time to create additional space, or you create multiple services so that there will be less pressure on the parking space. Now, the number of cars should also tell you the number of people, parking lot attendants that you have in a parking space. You may also consider expanding the lot or shutting down some committed members from bringing their cars to church and use a shuttle bus from a distance to reduce the vehicular volume into your church so that you can be able to manage the volumes of cars who are coming to church. So church leaders love a packed auditorium, but we need to make sure that we pack our auditorium in such a way that the facility does not break down. The facility does not break down. So once the facility breaks down, what happens is that there's a lot of messages that will be sent to the congregation that our leaders are not putting on their thinking caps, because we leaders need to be proactive. We need to preempt problems, because what will go wrong will surely go wrong, and what will surely go wrong, you need to do something about it to avert that thing going wrong. Avert that thing going wrong. All right, so let's ensure that our leaders also, whatever experience our leaders are having, they are also, everyone in the church are having that wow experience. Because the truth about it is that once people attend your church, and because people are paying some sacrifices to come to your church, they are paying transport fare, fuel, data to watch you online, and whatever they are gaining must supersede what they are paying. Once that happens, there's a lot of satisfaction, and once there's a lot of satisfaction, there's a lot of patronage. And so we need to find ways to make sure that people are satisfied, not just the leaders or the workforce or the volunteers, but that everyone who is coming to church, plus the guests, plus the convert or whatever first timers who are coming to your church, are having a wow experience in your church. So remember, open seats gives everyone a visual reminder. And it also liberates your members psychologically to invite their friends to church. I've done a broadcast on invitational culture series, about 2 or 3 of them, how you can use invitational culture to break good barriers and grow your church. This time, you need to find out people, you will get a group of people who will go out to invite people. You can go back to my page on my video on YouTube, subscribe. Next year, we're going to be coming with some deeper content. We're wrapping up Money Matters next week, Monday, and then we're going to roll out the plan for 2021 to make sure that we are actually giving you some good stuff. And perhaps if you go to my page and you do not see a good content there, please reach out, private chat me. I'm very prompt to my private chats, with my instant messaging, and we want to make sure that you are getting some good. You have a question as regards all the broadcasts so far this year, feel free to get in touch with me and I will get your answers to you. I love to speak with pastors. I engage pastors on a daily basis. I'm in the midst of pastors, a group of pastors like 3,500, and I love to hear their pulses. I love to understand what's happening. this is not the time for us to get burnout. This is not the time for us to get frustrated. The pandemic is something that the scripture has actually foretold. It has been prophesied in Matthew chapter 24. So we need to make sure that we are prepared. Let's don't be caught off guard that these things are like a distraction, so to say. We need to be prepared. Let's get a snapshot of where we are as a church. Reach out to me. I can do all these 14 vital signs assessments free. It's a matter of just sending you the data sheet. Give us a raw data. Make sure that the data you are providing is actually very authentic, and because garbage in is garbage out. Once you give us data that is very, very authentic, then we're able to analyze and give you those 14 vital signs. And then I will give you a book that will make you to understand some of these vital signs and how you can get healthier in areas that are seeming to be like weak points for the church. So please, this is the right time for you to take that free resource, 14 vital signs, so that by January, you can begin to do some goal setting, some strategic planning. You can begin to get yourself to a point of moving your church forward despite whatever disruption or the anomalies that the pandemic has brought our way. Next Monday, we're going to recap a lot of all the things that we have said this year. And of course, we're going to thank a lot of our clients or a lot of our listeners or a lot of people who have engaged us this year, just to thank them and to give them appreciation and gratitude from our heart. Because as a company, Magnicraft, we cannot just exist alone. We exist because you have been there to listen to us. We exist because you have been there to engage us, engage our services, and make sure that we are doing well to make things better for our churches. Our communities, our world needs healthier churches, and Magnicraft Consulting is a firm that helps churches grow healthier. Okay, whether small, medium, large size church, we help them grow healthier through empirical assessment and strategic blueprint. So we have a lot of empirical assessments. Okay, we have assessments for culture, for leadership style, for online assessment, facility assessment, worship assessment, church health, organizational health, 14 vital. There are quite a lot of them, and so it's better for you to get yourself assessed so that I can make quality decisions, appropriate decisions. Okay, now I was telling one of our men of God that these days an average pastor of a church is making much more decision than 20 years ago. You have to be a counselor, you have to do weddings. So there's a lot of decisions you have to make. And if you don't know how to assess, how to use data, you are going to be making a lot of, and of course, when you use all those things, you have to use it with the help of the Holy Spirit to guide you and to help you navigate yourself to a better future. So please subscribe to my YouTube channel, get to my Facebook, give me some like, share some of this video to a church worker, a church leader, a church pastor, and then I'm sure they'll be glad they did. I'm Niyi Dunmade again. I'm the founder and the CEO and the lead consultant at Magnicraft Consulting. I'm a certified church consultant with the Society for Church Consulting in the US. I love to help pastors. Reach out to me, and we're going to wrap it up and then get ourselves on a good right footing for 2021. Thank you for listening to me. Those who are online, and see some people are online. Thank you for listening to me. I appreciate all our listeners. Thank you for allowing me to come to your space. God bless you. I love what you're doing. I love all our churches. And by 2021, we're going to go in deeper and better in some of the contents we are dishing out in Monday Morning Matters. Thank you. God bless you. I see you again.